Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Wedding Club, our podcast by Be Our Guest Events.
Lovely. Hello.
We've had some lunch and now we're ready to roll.
We are full of food,
Full bellies.
full of energy. Let's go.
So today we are going to be talking about choosing the right supplier for you.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think it's a bit of a minefield and a bit scary for couples when they're starting out on the wedding side of things and they're thinking, how do we choose a florist?
Yeah.
What venue do we want? There's so many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to break it down.
Let's go.
Yeah. Okay.
That could be a cut. And
It's-
what do they call it? The bit that's like
The bloopers.
bloopers.
No, we're keeping it in. We're keeping that in. We're going to zoom in.
Oh my God.
First things first, you've got to decide your date.
Yeah. So do you want a spring wedding, a summer wedding?
Yeah.
Obviously,
Autumn.
spring and summer are like high season in summer especially.
They're the most popular. That's wedding season.
100%.
Yeah.
And the venues actually charge more for the peak times. And November and December, like autumn, winter,
Yeah.
cost less money.
Yeah. Book loads of bookings. Have a look, because obviously you've probably seen what sort of venues are around you in your area.
And you know what kind of style you want to vibe with.
Yeah, you know what sort of things you want to go for. Hopefully you've looked on Instagram, had a little look around. So start booking in to go and see venues, because you could love one online and see the photos of it and be like, oh my God, dream venue, blah, blah, blah. And you see it in person and you're like, this is not the one for me. So you've got to see, I recommend going to as many as possible before choosing the one.
And,
Yeah.
and on the contrary, you could be like, oh, let's just go and see all these venues.
Yeah.
And then you might find a gem you might not have thought about. 'Cause
Yeah.
You know, you might have seen something online and thought, maybe, who
Yeah.
knows? But then you
Yeah.
might turn up and you love it, and you love the staff, and you love more than you would have thought.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worthwhile going and having a look.
Yeah.
It's also got to be kind of vibe that you want. So do you want a marquee in somebody's back garden?
Yeah.
You might have
Like a chill, kind of casual
Yeah.
vibe. There's loads of different.
barn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A barn is more
Hotel.
rustic. So if you like that rustic look of flowers and decor, then a barn would suit that kind of vibe, and a marquee.
Yeah.
But if you want a glam hotel or venue, that sometimes it's just a venue that you rent, and then you've got to bring in the caterers, etc.
Yeah. A manor house. There's quite a lot of those where we are.
Yeah,
That
there's
sort of
lots.
stuff.
Castle
A castle, yeah.
for a princess.
Vineyards as well.
Yeah.
Oh yay! Oh, we got a beautiful vineyard around by us.
Ugh.
Every time we go, we're like, oh, it's so beautiful.
Especially in the summer months.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, to be honest, in all the months, in the winter when the snow's on top of the
Yeah.
on the vines.
Yeah. And these are the type of things you have to think of as well. So once you've kind of thought of what season you want your wedding to be held, and then think about how the venue that you choose is going to kind of look in that season. Like,
Yeah.
say if you get married in the winter and it's raining and it's boggy outside, is there going to be lots of opportunities for indoor photos wherever you're getting married? Because God forbid you're relying on the outside
Yeah.
Yeah.
for your photo. Yeah.
So you're right. Think about what it's going to look like if your photo's indoors as
Yeah.
well as out.
Yeah. Yeah. The
And
lighting.
Do you want lots of ground so you can have pictures by a lake? Like we got a castle run by us. There's a lovely lake
Yeah.
that you can go out on the deck and just have pictures looking over it. It's pretty.
Yeah.
Often
With a castle in the background.
maybe at a hotel as a venue, you might not have that many opportunities for outside photographs
Yeah.
because it's a it's a commercial hotel.
Yeah.
But then you could think,
More
okay,
boutique ones.
yeah, more boutique ones potentially. The
Yeah.
decor inside
Yeah.
could be great for photos.
Yeah.
And you could really lap that up instead of where you lack maybe in the outside setting, making up for that in the inside setting.
Inside, yeah.
Definitely. And I feel like hotels are normally the ones that provide the huge rooms as well to actually hold your reception. So is that something that you're looking for?
Yeah.
You know, there's pros and cons to every single type of venue. So it's just down to you and keeping everything like that in mind.
So when choosing a venue, you should look at the size of group that you're going to invite to the day and night.
And then think about the capacity that that venue actually holds.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the time as well, venues, or most of the time, venues have a different capacity for the day guests than they do for the night guests. So they allow a few more in the night then. So
Yeah, so if you've got
keep that
80
in
in the
mind.
day, is that going to look lost in a massive room?
yeah.
And is it going to look too tight in a smaller room?
Yeah.
These are things you need to think about. And what we always suggest to people is obviously look at photos of a setup of a wedding, but there's nothing like seeing it
In person.
in person when it's set up for either a wedding or even a conference where
Yeah.
they have round tables for the meal in the evening.
Just-
if you can see it in that setting,
Yeah,
that's
with
good.
the room filled out, basically, because you can only imagine so much with a blank room.
Yeah, 100%.
And yeah,
I think it is daunting when you walk into a one of the rooms where they hold the day reception and it's empty, and you think, "Oh my god, it looks massive. Is 80 guests going to look too
yeah,
small in here?" You know,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
be
But hell
lost.
no.
yeah,
I feel like if you speak to the sales staff, they tend to be a good point of contact for if you want to go and have a look when say, we need to, see this room filled out a little bit. I'm sure
Yeah.
they'd be more than happy to help. And
yeah, because they know when all of the sort of events
Yeah.
are in those rooms.
yeah,
And at the end of the day, they want to sell that venue.
Yeah,
And most of the sales staff we know are really, really good. And you'll have the same point of contact continuously throughout your wedding planning with a venue.
Yeah.
And that's great as well for continuity,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. So you're not jumping from email to email, like talking to a million different people who are picking up after each other, going, "Oh, let me just check that for you." Blah, 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 like,
you know, it's sad.
yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
So another thing you need to consider with the venue is location, location, location,
yeah, definitely.
as Kirsty and Phil would say.
Good show.
I love that show, by the way. I love Phil.
Shout out Daytime TV.
Consider where your guests are going to travel from,
yeah,
and is there enough accommodation on site to put them in a room,
yeah,
or is there a hotel nearby?
yeah.
You know, you've got to think of these things. And if there is a hotel close, how far away is that hotel? Because have they got to take a taxi that's going to take an hour?
Yeah,
You know, it's really not great then.
are many people going to be situated off site? So are you going to need to think about transportation costs?
Yeah,
A couple of weddings we've done, and they have buses
yeah.
bringing people to the venue and things.
Yeah.
It's a cost you would have to fall on your head, I'd imagine.
In that as well. So say you've fallen in love with a dream venue of yours and you're like, this is definitely the one. But then you realise that it's like a boutique hotel that only has 5 rooms and there's not a lot of accommodation around in the surrounding areas. You've got to think what you're going to be able to do for your guests, because obviously yeah.
How big is their back garden? Yeah. Check a tent, so you'll be fine.
Because you want to make sure that they're all accommodated for, because as well, that's going to make it more likely that they'd actually be able to come to your wedding.
Yeah.
And keep the numbers what you're actually imagining them to be.
And consider the evening guests as well, because if they come in for the evening, you don't want them to be travelling for 2 hours
No.
unless they got accommodation. Because some people like that anyway,
Yeah.
staying in the hotel if it's big enough.
Yeah, definitely.
So those are the things you need to consider when choosing your hotel.
yeah.
When you're choosing what kind of wedding you want, so say for example it is a marquee or a barn, have you got to supply then your own caterers?
Yeah.
Have you got to look for your own plates, cutlery, glassware,
Yeah.
all these things, tables even? I know venues that
Yeah.
haven't got tables. You've got to hire in tables and benches or chairs from. These are the things that will add to your budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could think that you're getting a great deal
Yeah.
with going into a market or a barn, say, and then you're like, oh God, I have to actually supply everything myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think a marquee is more expensive than actually
Yeah.
hiring a hotel, to be fair.
Yeah.
To begin with, I'd imagine your marquee.
In a garden
Yeah.
or a farmer's field or wherever.
Yeah, you got to do everything yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, marquee up, tables, linen,
Caterers,
caterers.
Literally everything.
evening caterers. Oh my God, the list goes on. Anyway,
But that could be your thing as well, and that could make it 100% personalised to you.
Yeah.
So
Up to you, really.
there's different things for everyone, and that's what we're here to highlight.
so let's talk about other suppliers.
Yeah.
What other suppliers do you need, guys?
Of course, venue dressers, stylists.
That's it.
Ding.
Ding, 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 ding. What are you looking for when you're choosing a supplier? So let's say photographer. I think a photographer you definitely got to vibe with.
100%.
100%. You've got to feel confident and comfortable. I was saying that.
In front
Both.
of them.
Yeah. In front of them, because you don't want to feel stiff, and you'll look back at your photos and you'll know if you felt confident there and then. You'll know 100% just by looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than when you're trying to have these cute, intimate photos and then you just being a bit creeped out by the person taking your photo. You wouldn't want that. So yeah, you need to, get on board with them, and hopefully they get on board
Some
with
people
you.
you can relax in front of as well, and your guests will feel at ease having photos.
Yeah, 100%. Because you want to have cute photos and like candids of your guests as well as.
So how do you choose your photographer? I think the biggest thing is look at their style of photography. Does that suit you? Is it more candid and relaxed, or is it more lining up in the traditional sense of having a family picture?
Yeah. I think that's what things like Instagram, social media is so good for. It's because you get the online portfolio straight away, and you can see if that's the sort of vibe that you're going for.
And then you meet them and they're weird, then don't go in them.
Yeah.
Or you meet them and you vibe.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah, exactly. But it's a great starting point, looking on socials, seeing the types of people that you do like, that you don't like. Because obviously word of mouth can get you so far. But if you have luck and you're like, actually, this is not my vibe at all, then use your own initiative.
Another good way to find suppliers is recommendations from the venue that you're choosing.
Definitely.
They'll have regular people that go on site and are used to, say, dressing it, taking photos in it. So they know all the little niche places you can go that are out of the norm to take those photos. So that's a good way. Social media is a good way of choosing. Wedding fairs?
Yeah.
I love a fair.
We love a fair.
Yeah, they're great. We love going to them and seeing new people, but also we love attending them.
Yeah.
And seeing new brides and grooms and couples.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Meeting loads of people, having a massive chat. And then obviously that in itself, you as a couple go in there, you'll automatically know if you click with the person who you're talking to or not. And that helps a lot.
Yeah. Other vendors you need to think about are cake.
Yeah.
Cake maker.
Yeah. A florist if you're going to be doing real flowers.
Fresh flowers, yeah. One tip we always give people at the moment, especially with the cost of living stuff that's going on, if you're having centerpieces and you want fresh flowers, they are going to be more expensive than renting your flowers. For example, we do silk flower arrangements. They're nothing like what your grandmother used to have with plastic looking flowers.
Yeah, they're not foam anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Thank God.
And that's a good way of economizing on your wedding.
Yeah.
And just having fresh for your bridal bouquets and bridal parties flowers.
Yeah.
Same goes for big arches you have behind your top table and things.
Absolutely.
To get that fresh is going to cost you hundreds.
I had a couple come in the other day and they literally said it was £2,000 for an arch to go behind them of like the full flower arch.
Yeah.
£2,000.
What are you going to do with those flowers the next day?
Exactly. And obviously some people want fresh flowers. They've got it in their head the
I
barriers.
get it. I love flowers.
But if you're not thinking about it, or because we have a lot of couples come in and see our silk flowers and go, oh, they're not real. And we're like, no, they're not real. They're silk flowers. And they're blown away because they're like, oh my goodness, this is not what I thought silk flowers are like.
Yeah.
They've come on leaps and bounds, haven't they? So flowers.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Even when I first started doing flowers for the flower wall I made, a lot of the flowers in that were foam.
They were, I remember feeling them and I would
They
pick
looked pretty, but they felt weird. And they were wired and they used to pop off. The heads used to pop off the wire. It was awful.
Oh my God.
Anyway, I digress.
But yeah, so going back to wedding fairs, it's such a good day as well because it's normally on a weekend or a weeknight.
Yeah.
So it's quite accessible in that terms.
Yeah.
It's normally in a venue anyway. So that gives you loads of different opportunities to see a venue, see vendors, and see loads of them all in one day.
Yeah.
So it kind of ticks a lot of boxes in one go. Yeah. And you can go to loads of different ones in like different parts. So there's a few, so we're based in South Wales and there's loads that go on just all throughout the year where there's different people going to each one. So it makes it like kind of like there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
And they're often in different venues as well.
Exactly.
So you can see So we would tend to dress a room in a wedding fair we tend to do in the Vale Resort. But then so you go to a different venue, there'd be suppliers dressing different rooms in those venues. So it gives you a good understanding really of
setup
and how things kind of work really.
Yeah, definitely. So what kind of vendors can you expect to meet? DJs. Even there's bridal wear there as well.
Yeah, there is.
Cake makers.
Suit hire.
Yeah.
Because that's much more of a thing, isn't it? Hiring
a suit. Sometimes the groom wants a bespoke suit.
Yeah, of course.
And there's lots of bespoke makers.
Yeah. You'll find cake makers. Stationery.
On the day stationery, wedding invite.
Yeah. Literally everyone. Photographers, videographers.
Devs.
Ice cream carts, like just little things that you'd be like you would never think of, but they're normally there.
Yeah,
a lot of weddings these days I find are doing more for guest entertainment when they're having their their photos done, and so like they look for lawn games if it's a summer wedding and ice creams, you know, just to fill that could be sometimes a 2 or 3 hour gap.
Yeah.
And keep them entertained like a magician. I love a magician.
Yeah, because normally a venue will do the turnaround. So after you've had your meal, your wedding breakfast, that room will then get transformed into your evening room. So that is normally like a 2 hour space.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh God, what do I fill this time with? Yeah. But that time is going to fly by because you're going to have your evening guests arriving. People are going to be talking to each other, talking to different people who maybe they weren't on the same table as. All of that. Drinking. You'll be having photos and drinks.
Sometimes in this point, a bride will change her outfit.
Yeah, true, an outfit change.
Except for a nighttime one, a shorter one. Easier to dance in, etc.
Yeah, love that. But yeah, so that's kind of the time as well when you can have, I've seen people do like portraits, like the caricatures and stuff like that. Yeah. Or like I've seen recently live paintings.
Oh, I love that.
That's fun. I've never heard of that.
Yeah. And there's a thing, it's like doubles as a favour then. They can take it home and frame it and it's them as a couple or family.
Yeah, and it has,
I love that.
Yours and your partner's name at the bottom then.
Fun. What about on the day tattoo artists? You heard about them?
I love it.
No!
Yeah. So people come and they do little tattoos.
That's
throughout the day.
It's all going to go wrong when you've got a drunk man who wants his
mate's best, I don't know.
Anything rude or something on there. Oh my God.
There's probably limits to what they will actually do.
Oh, that's
real
so
tattoos.
Cool.
You're not going to get a full back piece because I feel like this person's got to go around not every person.
Line drawings.
Yes,
that's cool. Anyway,
commemorate the day.
Yeah, and sometimes as well, I've seen people have like a flash sheet for their wedding, so you choose from those tattoos, and that's the only sort of tattoos that they'll do for the day. So it limits it a bit. Then
never heard of that.
Fun.
What if you get really drunk though and just get groom tattooed all over your head?
I don't think they do it.
I don't think they do like that.
No.
There's probably
this is not Benidorm.
There's probably that.
A boy's holiday gone wrong.
But yeah, those sort of vendors and those little things, like you said, the lawn games, the tattoo, the painters, the caricature people.
Yeah.
They're great just to fill those gaps, which you might find in a wedding day.
Yeah. But of course, they're all extra money. So it all depends on your budget, doesn't it?
Yeah. And you don't need them, but they are a nice to have as well.
Yeah,
so
cool.
Guest entertainment, I think, is becoming a really popular thing now, isn't it?
Definitely.
I love it. Do you know what I love? A singing waiter. In my friend's wedding, it was done like Love Actually in the church.
Yeah, when they get up with the instruments.
Yeah. Was that Love Actually?
Yeah, that was Love Actually.
Yeah.
They'll say that it was a couple of years ago when my friend got married. She had a singing people because they weren't singing waiters.
Yeah.
They stood up one by one at the end of the ceremony and started singing.
Love Actually style.
Yeah. And it was so much fun. I just loved it. And in fact, then I went on to book them for my daughter Chloe's 18th birthday party.
Yeah.
So yeah. How long ago it was.
They were great. And I definitely did work a shift with them as well. And I was like, I recognise them. But in my head, I was just like, they must be mum and dad's friends. That's probably why I recognise them. But no, I worked a shift with them and they were pretending to be waiters.
And the way they it scared the life out of me on shift once. They have like cutlery in a metal bucket.
Yeah.
And then they run and they pretend to fall over and it makes the loudest noise.
Oh.
And I was literally like, why is this person fall over? And then they just pull out a microphone and start singing.
even though they're a bit like, some people are like, oh, I don't think I want to sing and wait till they're done kind of thing. They do get people up and singing and dancing.
It's about the entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So
is
again, guest entertainment, stuff like that.
So another way of finding good suppliers is through a local wedding guild. I've seen throughout the UK there are wedding guilds, and they house suppliers as like clients, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we go to wedding fairs that are run by them.
Yeah.
To get into the wedding guild is first of all, they don't overexhaust one area. So you haven't got 15 florists and one photographer. So they try and get like, say, 8 or 10 of each discipline, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you've got to be trade in for 3 years or more and have references from past brides and people in the area that have worked with you.
Yeah.
Are the vendors.
Yeah.
Who are guild members.
Yeah. And that just means it's quite a reliable place to source vendors then, because you know that they have been referred by other vendors, they've already done a fair few weddings and they've been around for a little while. Not that that is the most important thing,
of course not.
but it's a good baseline. It's a good place to start your search.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So the last thing you want is an unreliable vendor. So you turn up on your day and they're not there.
That's just a nightmare, isn't it?
We've
Imagine
seen
that.
loads of horror stories of those recently, I feel like.
Yeah.
People cancelling last minute. Like,
minute,
you're less likely to do that if someone has a good reputation already.
The last thing
tend to
I
hold
would
them.
ever dream of doing is cancelling as a wedding vendor ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, no. And that's why it's good to have more than just a one-man band type of place. For us, we've got 6 full-time employees.
Yeah.
So we would, if I was ill, I've trained the guys to be able to go and set up. So it'd be easy for me.
Yeah.
You know, and those are the things you've got to think about
Exactly.
as well.
And we do have part-time staff as well. So even if worse comes to us, no one is available, we do still have people to call on. And I do think that is something.
It's really helpful.
And that's come with time as well. So in the idea of someone
Taken 8
being
years to get to that point.
around.
We've got reliable casual staff as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it means we can do more than one wedding a day, really, as well.
Yeah.
So, like
We've
this
done
weekend,
4.
we're doing
3 on one day.
3 on Saturday and then 1 on
Friday.
Yeah. So we're here, there, and everywhere.
These two are going out of our local area and going 2 hours away to dress a wedding this weekend.
Well, yeah.
So getting a mini break as well because they're staying in a hotel overnight.
Thanks, Claire.
Picks of the job.
We do travel, but obviously that comes at a cost of our staff as well.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Cake suppliers. You definitely want to go to a tasting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to know, as good as a cake can look, if it tastes rubbish,
It's not going to be fun.
it's not ideal.
Now they also zoom in on what is your favourite combination of cakes.
Yeah.
Do you like a chocolate cake? Do you like a sponge? Do you like it flavoured with coconut, etc.? So that is also important.
And obviously make sure they do the sorts of styles that you're after, because there's so many different styles of wedding cakes people are going for, especially at the moment. There's a million to choose from. So make sure they look how you want them to look, and then obviously taste how you want them to taste.
And they go with your venue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you've got a rustic wedding, lots of people choose a semi-naked cake with just like frosting around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, really nice.
But then think about the weather. So if you're having that kind of cake and it's going to be staying in a marquee all afternoon until it's ready to be cut, it's going to melt.
I've seen cake smell.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
fall.
Buttercream.
Yeah,
Cake.
buttercream
It's
cake.
spooky.
Oh, in the summer,
Awful.
absolute nightmare.
Don't put it next. You know, like some marquees, they have like the plastic windows.
Yeah.
Don't put your cake next to one of them.
The sun's literally
'Cause-
beating down on the cake.
Time
For a
goes,
fan.
yeah, the time goes by, your cake just starts slipping. I've seen that before.
Yeah.
We've seen that countless times, and it is really scary.
Yeah.
Scary for the cake
Yeah.
decorators and makers themselves. 'cause
Yeah.
We've transported them.
Yeah. A lot of the time, people will like recommend against things like that anyway. Like the cake makers normally know best.
Yes.
So they should tell you, but just something to keep in mind, because it's spooky when it does happen.
And a lot of times I've seen is people do not want 3 tiers of actual cake left to eat. So one thing they do is have the bottom layer where is actually a cake that you can eat that can be cut up in the night with some left over for you to take home. And the other 2 layers are just pretend layers.
Yeah.
So they're dressed like the rest of the cake on the outside. They're inside this polystyrene drums that they dress.
Yeah.
However, the actual point of a cake to cost factor is the decoration that goes on the outside. So say if you've got lots of flowers made out of icing, that takes a cake maker a long time to make.
And they're so finicky.
Yeah. I'd say that's the biggest part of it, is the cost in that is how much time is spent on the decoration on the outside, not the actual baking of the cake.
Yeah.
So those things that you need to consider when you're costing up a cake. We go on forums around our area and people say, I want a cake, but I don't want to be paying £600. Well, you're asking for probably a 2-tier cake then with decorations on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I want a 6-tier cake with pills and gems and everything on the outside, but I don't want it to cost more than £100. That's not going to happen.
I've been burnt myself with a cake person. Somebody recommended somebody for my son's birthday. And we thought, yeah, let's go with that person then. This was years ago before I knew cake makers. He was only about 10 at the time. And my husband went to pick it up and he said, come home with it. And he said, we're not eating it. I said, what? What do you mean we're not eating it? He said, the house was disgusting. It was dirty.
Ew.
The woman had dirty fingernails. You know, and I said, oh, great. And then they opened the box and I said, we're not even showing that cake. It was the worst cake I've ever seen. It was a wrestling cake. Oh my God. WWE style. It was absolutely terrible. So we just chucked it in the bin.
Yeah.
Just chucked it in the bin.
Yeah. That's the good thing about a lot of cake makers now, though, is they are on the food hygiene.
Oh, yeah.
And they have the food hygiene written.
Yeah.
And so you can, there's like full transparency
If you
in that. Yeah. Maybe go with
5.
Yeah. 5. Okay. So another vendor that you'd be looking out for potentially on your wedding day is a florist.
Yes.
And there's quite a few things that you can do with a florist. So you could obviously do every single thing to do with flowers. Can be fresh flowers, so from your registrar table flowers to your top table to your centerpieces to bouquets, buttonholes, corsages, arches, everything like that. So you can do all of those. Or I've seen a lot recently of florists kind of offering a bundle, so they'll do the bridesmaids bouquets, like 3, the bride's bouquet, buttonholes, and then 2 like gift bouquets as well. And then that's like in a package, for like mother of the brides, wherever.
That's nice.
So you can kind of go however many flowers you want.
There's quite a range. You can go from, you know, a bouquet, say, to the full venue.
The one thing I think about with that is sustainability. Using all those fresh flowers normally means they come in from
Amsterdam.
I don't know.
I think it's like Holland.
Oh yeah, Amsterdam's a city, isn't it?
But also the but I didn't know. I
need to go back to school.
But it's the next day. It brings, I love fresh flowers. I absolutely love them. But the next day, when you get to a venue and the bride's taking away the things that she wants, so a bouquet, etc., and maybe some flowers for somebody's grave. That's always a nice touch. And then they're just left. They're left to rot. I once did a wedding and it was probably about 50 grand's worth of flowers. And the next day they were just left.
It's such a shame because the florists put so much work into making them look so beautiful. And
they do look beautiful on the day.
I've never seen a bad flower arrangement, to be fair.
And then the next day, they're just left on the floor sometimes.
They're just dying away. And then the venue just picks them up and chucks them.
And there's only so many you can give away on the night, isn't there? Like I've had people come in and they've said, we were literally handing out flowers at the end of the day, like, you take a flower, you take a flower, you take a flower. So which is where people like us come in quite handy. Not to toot our own horn, but
toot
with artificial flowers, obviously you can take away some of those, so then you don't have as many dead flowers the next morning on your hands.
And it's a more cost-effective way.
100%.
It definitely is more.
Especially things for your centerpieces, your arches.
The big
The
pieces.
big pieces. You can get a massive, 70 centimetre floral ball?
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
For a fraction of the price of something real, which
Literally.
wouldn't really
In
be
real,
that big.
it'd be a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About £200-300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on how big you go and what flowers you choose, obviously.
Obviously, yeah.
But yeah.
And we also, if the bride says, "Oh, but I'm going to miss the smell of real flowers," we will, because we always put out candles at a wedding. There's always candles because I think that helps with the romantic vibe.
Yeah.
And we can put some floral scented candles in that will give you that smell anyway. Oh, and can I tell you about another? Oh my gosh, I was thinking about this the other day. You can go into Joe Malone and make a scent for your wedding that's unique to your wedding.
Yeah. Like you
And
can
they
layer
can
different
put it
ones.
in the air conditioning units
Really?
to blow it out throughout the day.
Blush.
Speaking of candles,
Yeah.
fire and venues.
Oh, Chloe's got a great story about fire.
Oh my goodness. Say what you.
So a big consideration, as you said, the flame element. You think it's so small.
Yeah.
But having real candles lit on the day makes such a big difference.
Oh, it
There's
does.
so many different venues, rightfully so, have so many different rules and regulations regarding fire, because you don't want the venue to burn down.
Yeah. Especially marquees.
Especially marquees that
Stuff like
tend
that.
not to like real candles.
Yeah. Low ceilings.
Low ceilings they don't like. Some venues you think, great, it's in a brick building, it's high ceilings, and they still might not allow real candles, which is a shame, because that personally we think
Yeah. But that is definitely something to ask about.
100%.
One of the first things.
Because it makes such a difference. Because say you really want a candle, you get these ones where there's candles all on the floor, loads on the table, flickering away.
Yeah.
And then the venue says, oh, sorry, you have to have LED. It's just not quite the same.
Yeah.
Chloe's got a really good, interesting story about this.
Yeah. So when I used to work in the hotel that I worked in, they had another venue as well. It was a castle.
Beautiful castle.
It's absolutely gorgeous. And basically there was real candles and they weren't contained in any sort of way, and they looked fine, and it didn't look like they were particularly near anything. There was like some flowers around it, but we were like, the flowers kind of in vases, or they were in oasis as well, so they were like we thought they were wet, basically. So we were like, they'll be fine, it's fine. And they're only tea lights as well. We were like, they're going to be out before we know it. Anyway, we were walking past it probably not even an hour later, maybe half an hour later, and there was only two of us on at the time, three of us I think actually working at the time, and the person was walking in front of me and she said, "Chloe, is it meant to be like that?" And I had a look, and it was on a table, and I'm not kidding you, the whole tabletop was on fire. There was not a flower there.
Like that?
I was like, I don't think so, probably not. I reckon you should probably try and sort that out. And there was people already there. It was a bit of a nightmare, but we worked through it quite well, actually.
Did you get a fire extinguisher?
Yeah, so I was literally, I think, a month before maybe I did fire training
Phew.
with the hotel that I was working in, and they luckily got us fire trained. There was a fire extinguisher. I was like, let me put my skills to use.
Nice.
Woman Chloe.
It was spooky, but it was sorted. Thank goodness.
Oh, wow.
And there was, the fire brigade came as well.
Oh, my God.
We had to evacuate the building. There was already guests there. The groom was like, what on earth is going on? I was like, do not worry. Please look away. It's going to be fine. It's not going to look like this. I saw it. We had to get it sorted out, but it was fine.
I had a similar kind of story with fire. They put candles on the buffet table in the evening.
Yeah.
And then some people, you pick up a napkin, you put that underneath, then you have your plate on top.
Yeah.
And the napkin was drooping in the fire.
Oh my
So I
god.
had to go to this woman who didn't know, because obviously her plate's covering everything. So you're on fire, basically. And then she dropped it, and then she dropped it on her dress. And then I was there, like,
Stamping out her
Fire
dress.
on her dress.
so the napkin that caught fire was on her dress. So I was
Oh
stamping
my
her dress
God.
out.
Oh, my God.
And then I felt bad. I was like, her shoes probably have a bit of mud on there.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's either that or being on fire. So I think she was fine. I think
good
she's
point.
fine with a bit of mud.
But yeah, so flames.
Yeah. Be careful.
Be careful.
Check with your venues if you're allowed
We
to.
actually spend a fortune on LED candles.
We try and find the best ones, and I think we're quite good at it now.
I think
Yeah.
we've got it down now.
Yeah. We had a
Gone are the days with the
few
blue flame that looks like that British gas.
symbol.
little
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. We've got warm, lights that flicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're perfect.
Yeah.
So
much better.
yeah, if you can't have candles, if that's not something that you're allowed on the day, don't worry too much, because
We got it.
we got it. And if you're not coming with us, a lot of other vendors do also take into consideration that and provide the same sorts of things as well.
Yeah.
So you'll be fine.
I think that wraps this
This episode up.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Let us know what you think, because we'd love to know.
If you've got any fire stories you want to share.
Or any stories, just anything.
Yeah. If you have
Any
any
questions?
dilemmas, any questions, let us know, because we want to help.
We love a dilemma. We can help you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Peace
much.
out.
Thank you for listening, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Bye.
Bye.